Welcome to Basic Brewing Radio for Thursday, January 2nd, 2025. I'm James Spencer. Happy New Year! Here at Basic Brewing Radio, we're all about home brewing. This week, we taste two beers from Matt Giovanisci of Brew Cabin, a Mash Your Luck Challenge, and a delicious holiday-themed beer. Also, Josh Secor from Gambit Brewing rolls the virtual dice for his own Mash Your Luck brew. If you want to support us financially, check out patreon.com/basicbrewing, and many thanks to everybody who's helping out in that way. If you go to patreon.com/basicbrewing, you can see a long list of stuff that you can access if you sign up as a supporter. And many thanks to the new Patreon subscribers who are signing up every week. Your help is very much appreciated. Welcome to 2025. Man, it's hard to believe we're here. This year, we will hopefully cross the 20-year mark of putting together this podcast. It's been a fun 2 decades, looking back on all the things that we've seen and done and places we've been and people we've met. It's crazy. And there's more to come. I've started the process of brewing my next beer to take me into the new year, which is also a Mash Your Luck brew. I don't want to get into the details yet because Chris Colby and I will formulate that beer on next week's show, so no spoilers. It's dry January for a lot of people, and for those of you who are stepping away from alcohol for health reasons or whatever reason you have, I wish you luck. Good luck. For those of us who are continuing to imbibe, don't forget your local small breweries and tap rooms. They need your support. A lot of, it's January is a hard time for a lot of our favorite places. If you are taking a break from drinking beer, that doesn't mean you have to stop, brewing it. And may I recommend the seasonal strain from our friends and sponsors at Imperial Yeast, B45 Gnome. I used a Gnome for my Hoppy Belgian Golden, and I'm really happy with the way that turned out. It's got a really nice clovey spice to it that goes well with the dry hops that I used. I think it was at Nectaron in Idaho 7. I'm really happy with that beer. B45 Gnome is very flocculent, so it began to clear quickly. Gnome offers remarkable clarity, classic Belgian flavor profiles, high flocculation, and versatility for Belgian styles from light and hoppy to dark and malty. I got two packs from Casey at Imperial. I gave one to Steve on his birthday, so I'm looking forward to what he comes up with for the Gnome for his beer. You know we love Imperial Yeast with 200 billion cells in each easy-to-open pack. My stir plate is usually dusty because I don't make starters anymore for moderate gravity 5-gallon batches, and my airlocks are usually bubbling before bedtime. Ask your local homebrew store about B45 Gnome while you can, and check out all the dependable deliciousness at imperialyeast.com. It's imperialyeast.com. Okay, I've been looking forward to this for a while. We talked about the planning of both of these beers on the show in different episodes. One is big and dark, and the other is small and dark. Both beers from Matt were delicious, of course. Matt Giovanisci, welcome back to Basic Brewing Radio.
Thanks for having me again.
We're featuring your beers today.
Oh, yeah.
And along for the ride to taste as well is Josh Secor of Gambit Brewing Company, St. Paul, Minnesota.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing well. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's good to see your faces and hear your voices, and I'm assuming it'll be good to taste your beers, Matt.
We'll see. We'll see.
You've got two beers. What do we got on tap, so to speak?
The first one we're going to taste is the Mash Your Luck beer, which you had already described. I think I have my notes right here. What I rolled was low ABV, balanced bitterness, black, sour, and I still don't know how to say it. Oceania.
I'm saying Australasia.
Yeah, I can't do that. My tongue doesn't work in those ways. So that's this first beer. My interpretation of it was to make a session black IPA so a session black IPA, and then sour it with blueberry puree.
Oh, nice.
I like it.
And then the hops are all actually, I have to look it up because I went and found a hop that wasn't a traditional or popular New Zealand hop. And that one, I can't remember the name of it, but it was the only hop I could find that had notes of stone fruit or instead of citrus. I didn't want citrus.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that, and it was actually really inexpensive. I'm trying to pull it up here. Oh, of course, I'm on a new computer, so nothing works. I have my things on my phone. So yeah, it's got 3 pounds of blueberry puree in it, and I was gonna puree my own blueberries. And then I was afraid about the frozen kind I could get in that large of a quantity if it had some sort of yeast killer or whatever, because I did ferment it out. It is not left in there. I did ferment it. So yeah. And then you'll taste it and then tell me what you get. As far as the sour component, it's weak. I'll say that.
It's not super tart, but it's noticeable.
Yeah, I'm calling it a blueberry black session New England IPA. So the New England part, or the hazy part, is how I hopped it essentially. And I did. Let me see. I believe I included some oats. I did. So it's basically pale malt, a little carapils, midnight wheat for the darkness, and oats, and then blueberry puree. And the yeast was also London Ale 3, so another New England nod. And then I'll be honest, I goosed it with a little lactic acid.
Oh,
because
that's all right.
I didn't feel it was it didn't have the tardiness that I wanted.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, it already fermented out. I didn't know. I was thinking about pitching something like a Philly sour or some sort of souring yeast, or just a regular souring yeast, but not like a bug. And so I ended up just goosing it a little bit.
I think that's allowed.
Well, I don't know. I could have been breaking the rules a little bit.
No, I mean we're making up the rules as we go along. I mean there's nothing in the mash your luck rules that say you can't tweak a bit to try to get back get into the parameters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and as far as the hop is concerned, I'll just spell it. KOHATU.
Oh yeah, Kahatu, I think.
Kahatu.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'll go with that.
I've heard of that. I haven't used it, but I've heard of it.
And I used 8 ounces all in the hop stand. Nothing, no bittering additions.
It totally worked because the bitterness I think is pretty good. I mean, mm-hmm. I would have not thought it was just an only hop stand beer, so that came out really well.
So you'd say balanced as far as the
bitterness?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is low ABV. It's 3.5 to maybe 4, somewhere in that range. Yeah.
I mean, I think if it was more bitter, I think it would be weird with the blueberry and the tartness.
And the tartness too.
Yeah,
because it's artificial. It's the blueberry did bring in some, but for me it was just I barely get it. And then the carbonic acid helped a little. But I think I added the lactic acid at the very end. Then I maybe only added 2 to 4 mils, somewhere in that range.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not
such
a little amount, but it's just enough to kind of bring the fresh fruitiness back like you would get from blueberry.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been in the keg for a minute. So.
Yeah, and we did the tasting with Scott Housel's grape beers, and that's they were way sour, way tart, delicious, but my tongue might not have reset from back then. So, but there is still a tartness at the end of the sip, and the fruit kind of sneaks in the back door when you swallow.
Do you get blueberry?
A little bit, a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's power of suggestion, but I think it's incredibly satisfying for such a low ABV beer. When I poured it, it is black. I mean, it looks like motor oil. Used motor oil.
Yeah, so I used a lot of Midnight Wheat.
But it looks great, but it does. There's no that Midnight Wheat is good for adding color without a lot of like roasty astringency.
And I'm pretty sure I added it. I don't remember. I either added it as a cold steep, so way late, or I added it towards the end of the mash. So I did not fully mash with it for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it. I get it, and I get the fruity hops as well. It's not like a New England IPA level of fruitiness as far as the hops are concerned, but I don't think I want that in this beer.
No, I'm really impressed with it. It all balances really well.
Yeah, I would make if I had to make a change to it, in my head I was going for what's a dark liquid that mixes with sour, besides just the dark sour with I was thinking Black Forest Cake Cherry. I actually did attempt, because it took me a while to figure it out, because I do have a Saison in the basement that did not sour. I was trying to sour it. This is all those beers that I tried to sour and didn't work out. But I saved one of the ones that I didn't dump one thing, and I had a whole can of the tart cherry puree. And so I added that, hoping it would re-spark the bugs to maybe re-sour. And so I thought maybe if that was soured, that I could make a regular beer and then sort of blend the cherry into it. So I was going to make an actual chocolatey beer with the cherry blended in for sort of a Black Forest cake, but then that wouldn't have worked with the hops as much. But turns out the cherry didn't. It just tasted like friggin' Robitussin, so didn't work. So the biggest driver of what I was going for, and again, I wish I would have done this now that I taste it, is coffee with those fruit notes. So when you have a natural coffee that's been, or an anaerobic coffee that's been fermented in low oxygen and it's lightly roasted, it has this chocolate blueberry combination. Sometimes you get some certain kinds. And so I was like, I should try to do that, because that would taste good, slightly tart, I think. And I did not add chocolate. I was afraid, last minute, I was like, no, take out the chocolate malt. I didn't do it. So I just ended up with so it's kind of black IPA. The process was more of a black IPA or a Cascadian dark ale style.
Well, it's incredibly satisfying and incredibly drinkable. It's all I can do not to just chug the whole can.
I mean, so
you're not chugging the whole can?
Yeah. My dad was in town. He doesn't live here, so he flew in, and we made the beer while he was here.
Nice.
And he doesn't really know much about making beer. He's just kind of basically my janitor for the day, so I don't have to clean that day. But he was like, I really want to try it. Could you send me one? So when I sent you 2 cans, I also shipped him one. But I arrived, so I flew back to New Jersey, and the beers arrived when I got there. So he opened it, and I was like, yeah, give it a try. And by the time I turned around, he had finished the entire can. I'm like, what? Okay. I thought it was a share moment, but okay.
I guess he liked it.
Yeah, I was shocked. So, I also think him having a part,
Oh, sure. Well, it's extremely cleanly fermented. Tell me the yeast. Tell me the yeast again.
London Ale 3.
That's right.
Yeah, and I did primary fermentation, drop the yeast, add it, blueberry puree, let it go for, I don't know, a handful of days until I felt it was done. And then I tried to drop that, but it was pretty well incorporated at that point. So not much came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, no, sorry. I think I did the blueberry after dry hopping. No, that's not right. Dry hopping was the very end. Sorry. No, I didn't dry hop it. That's right. I didn't dry hop it. Everything was in the hop.
It's just Whirlpool. Yeah.
You're
Everything
just making
was
this up.
right.
This is not your beer, is it, Matt? You're just making all this up.
We said it's been a while, so it's been a while.
No,
it's, like stained.
It's really really good. I would expect no less from you and your brewery and your dad. Let's put him in.
Yeah,
too. Really, really good. And again, this is not one thing that I've liked about the beers that we've had from this challenge is that even though some of the combinations have been kind of wacky and like, how the heck is all that going to fit together? The people who have taken part in this have made it work. I mean, this does not taste like a Frankenstein beer. This does not taste like a randomized beer. This is a beer that tastes like it was made on purpose. And this is a beer that if I saw this on the shelf, or on a tap somewhere, I would get it for sure.
I mean, I come from marketing, so it was, I know how to package it.
Yeah. You spared no expense or labor on your labels this time.
I could have been. I mean, a blueberry Cascadian dark ale sounds like I'd drink the hell out of that.
Yeah.
And at a low ABV, it's what, 3?
And a session.
Yeah.
Add session in there, and you can.
Yeah, I would drink this literally all day and not be like, yeah, but I'm missing something. I'm not missing anything. This is great.
I two things I would change is I would add chocolate malt and I would push the tartness a little bit. I probably would have co-pitched like a Philly sour because I didn't want it. You don't want it super tart,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But I probably would have done something like that.
Yeah, I think it's.
I'd be really curious to try it with chocolate malt and just see if the roast worked. Or
battles the hops.
I think it's going to be one or the other. I don't think it's going to be in between.
Yeah, it could. Yeah.
But it could. That little chocolate note could be really good too.
So Matt, do you feel like being judged?
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
I feel like I'm being judged.
My mother did that to me my entire life. So that's a joke.
Josh, do you feel like judging?
Well, I've been judging Matt for how long now?
Just like my mother.
Just silently.
Silently, yeah.
Well, it's easy. So what we got to do, and this is a system that Adam Ross of Twin Span Brewing came up with. I'm gonna have to. I was just gonna put our first initials for the little columns here, but we both are J's, so I'm gonna have to.
Oh, that's not well. We can't do last name either.
That's right.
Conundrum.
we could share luggage. What's your middle initial?
W.
What? You?
It is, yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, we can share monogram towels now.
That's insane. We're both Jawas. That's
my
crazy.
initials are MSG.
Well,
yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
You're very controversial. Okay, well, so let's go through the characteristics here. ABV low. I think we can check that off as saying yes. That's bitterness balanced. I
thought it was perfect.
Yeah. It's great. Black. I can't see through it. It's definitely black. Sour. It's not sour. It's a little tart.
It's tart, but I don't think I want it more sour, which I don't know how that enters into the judging.
I don't think it's sour.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
I'm judging myself. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I shouldn't interject.
Well, so Are these out of a certain point
No,
scale?
no. This is just like, does it
This is
fit
a yes,
the
no.
categories? Where
Yeah.
you just checked off.
Then I would say it fits the category because it's noticeably tart. It's just not sour.
It's not sour, but yeah, there is a tartness to it for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
It's more tart than like a Pilsner, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then Australasian. So that's does it have the characteristics of? Is it influenced by that area, that region of the world? And I would say yes. I mean, you use the
You
hops.
got the hops.
Yeah.
The only hop I used was the New Zealand.
Well, there you
hop,
go.
so.
Yeah.
That's it. So okay. Now we get to the numbers. So theme / originality is worth 5 points. So Josh, up to 5 points. What do you say?
Oh, I'd give it 5.
Yeah.
This is a super cool beer.
Yeah, it's very original, and you know it fits the theme. There's a story behind it. The fact that you brewed with your dad, I think, that is worth some points.
And he's a Kiwi, so
what?
No,
Oh.
I could have added to the story.
The people y'all are just making stuff up to make me happy. Appearance up to 3 points. I'd say 3. It looks great. It does. It had a great head a couple minutes ago. It's beautiful. It looks substantial when it's being poured.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like what you said. You tell me that's a black IPA. It looks like a black IPA.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm gonna lean on you for this one, Josh. I'm the guy that blows his nose constantly when we're on the Zoom call. The aroma is worth 5 points.
Then I would give it.
I can smell something.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I would give it a 4, just because I think if you dry hopped it, and maybe did you use any kind of like an extract or anything?
No.
I think maybe if it had
I thought about buying it. Yep.
Tiniest amount, like especially blueberry extract, it gets real weird real fast. But
yeah,
just
to goose it, just to give it a little bit of like
tiny bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
This is the big one. Flavor is worth up to 10. I am getting, as this beer has warmed up, I'm definitely getting the blueberry. The blueberry is definitely coming through.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Not in a punch or so. It's not like super sweet.
No, it's fermented.
Blueberry. Yeah, it's not like blueberry. Hard seltzer or anything. No urinal cake characteristics. but it's a nice blueberry note on the end. And I love the flavor a lot. Are we gonna ding it maybe because it's not as tart as we expect in the flavor category, Josh? What do you think?
My gut says it's an 8.
Oh, okay. What's your tongue say?
My tongue says it's almost gone, which is kind of getting disappointing, but
there's another one, and that one you can be real slow, but with.
Okay, all right. I'm just going along with you, Josh, on this thing, so I don't have to add twice.
Sure.
Finish up to 2. I'd say finish. Finish is great.
2.
There's there's nothing weird on the.
Well, it's super well fermented. There's nothing. There's
no oxidation.
Weird off flavors. No oxidation. I think it's super good. I mean, it's packaged well. It's shipped well.
Yeah, that came right out of the tap.
Really?
Yep. I found no difference between filling cans from the tap and filling it from like a complex can filling machine.
Yep.
It's just as long as you cap on foam.
Yep.
Yeah. Seems to be the trick, and fill it as high as humanly possible.
Yes. Yeah.
So according to my math, out of a possible 25, it's 22.
I'll take it.
I think it's great.
It is a super good.
Now, what do I win?
We can pay you in smiles.
Okay.
Well, that was delicious. I'm already.
Yeah, that's super good. That's an awesome.
Yeah,
beer.
that one you can drink the whole thing. This next one, it's a big boy.
So now this is going to run. We're recording a week before Christmas.
Yeah.
but it'll run probably the first show of the new year. So we're still in the holiday spirit. We're cleaning the beer fridge out of all the holiday beers that we bought. So this is your take, and we did a show on this, a recipe development show, because you wanted to make holiday beer. Of course, I can't remember what we said, but
I do. I wrote it down.
But we, mostly Josh, gave you some advice on brewing up a holiday beer. So what direction did you go in?
So this is a peppermint mocha coffee stout, imperial coffee stout.
Ooh.
So when I say imperial, think 12% plus.
Oh.
I don't actually have the ABV, but it was. And there's a story with this one too.
We're not gonna give you numbers on this one. We're just gonna drink.
No, that's fair.
Oh,
take your time.
Oh, it's
I'll just say that.
beautiful, boy, and it does look like motor oil, and the head is a dark tan to light brown.
Yep.
Man, it smells good.
Yeah. So this one is made with 2-row 8. So this is a 5-gallon batch, mind you. When I read off these poundages. Okay. 5-gallon batch. Okay. This is 18 pounds of 2-row, 2 pounds of flaked oats, a pound of chocolate malt, and a pound of milk sugar, lactose, and 8 ounces of midnight wheat for the darkness. 22 pounds, 8 ounces. I brewed it in my 10-gallon system, and then boiled it to a 5-gallon batch. It has 1 ounce of Magnum. That is the only hop. And then it is flavored. So this was tough. I had to figure all this out. It was flavored with cacao nibs, coffee, vanilla beans, vanilla extract, and peppermint extract.
Oh, I've already taken a sip, and wow, that's a Christmas explosion.
It really is.
Wow. You just want to the first beer I just wanted to like chug because it was so delicious and satisfying and enjoyable. This one, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
And what were the and Josh is warming his goblet up there with his hands. What were the stats, the OG and the final gravity and the ABV?
The OG was 1.114.
Yo.
And then the final was 1030.
Oh, not yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it came out to roughly like 11%.
Wow.
So I can describe how I added the flavors. But first, I fermented this with 2 packs of a Nottingham yeast. I did dry yeast. So I did 2 packs of that. I brewed it. I put it in the smaller pressure fermenter, the unitank here. I didn't pressurize it. I just put it in that tank.
You denied me of my under pressure button.
Oh, sorry.
So you didn't brew under pressure?
Under pressure. There we go. The vanilla ice of so I put it in that, pitched the yeast. Next morning, which was Tuesday, the 6th or the 5th, I woke up and the entire brewery floor was covered in this stuff.
Oh, yes.
So I missed the Brewing Disaster show. I have video of it. I sent it to you. So what had happened was it had fermented so vigorously. I stupidly should have started cooler and ramped up, but I started at 68.
Oh.
So I dropped it immediately afterwards, but it just basically like went out the blow off tube into I have a giant jar of Star San but it bubbled into that. And then that's what overflowed on the whole floor. So that was an entire day of mopping. And then I pitched so one of the things I did was I bought this double milk stout, just local double milk stout in cans, because what I wanted to figure out was how much mint is too much mint, because that was the real worry.
Yeah.
So we were doing, I brought a friend over who's a BJCP judge, and we were just dosing different cups because we figured it was roughly like, it was like a 10% double milk stout. And we just kept dosing it with peppermint, and it just kept tasting medicinal.
Huh.
And then I went and brewed an espresso and started dosing that. And that didn't really change it much. It really just still smelled medicinal. But then when I started adding vanilla, it completely changes it. It makes it sweet mint.
Vanilla is such a crazy thing to add to beers because even if you don't know it's there, it changes the whole beer.
It was.
You would never taste this and pick out vanilla, but
no,
because it's there, everything else works.
Yeah, it was it. So what I did was I was worried about there not being enough vanilla. So I decided last minute, my idea was to dry hop with cacao nibs and coffee beans and the vanilla beans, like just put it all in the fermenter. But again, after the huge explosion, I was kind of like nervous about it. And so I decided to take the cacao nibs, which I think was like, I did like 4 ounces. It was quite a bit. 2 vanilla beans. And I made a tincture with like a light Irish whiskey. And the coffee, I ended up just literally pouring shots of espresso into it. So there's 5 double shots of espresso in a 5-gallon batch.
Wow.
Okay. Which I had to figure out, like, is that too much caffeine? But it isn't.
I'll text you at 11 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. Like, I got a million ideas.
We're not in 4 Loko territory yet, so I think we're still safe.
No, I think we're safe. And then the mint was obviously just an extract. And then I tasted it after I'd like mixed it all up. Tasted it and just was like, the vanilla is just not coming through. So I started pouring vanilla extract in there because I'm like, I needed that to make it not taste medicinal, essentially. So it was really kind of like a play it by ear. And I learned a lot. Like if I had to do it again, I obviously would do a ton of things different. But peppermint extract is I feel like it's the only way to get that in the beer. I was toying around with like candy canes, which I don't know what's in a candy cane, honestly. Could be oils and, what have you. Probably is hydrogenated oils or something. And then I thought about peppermint leaves. I thought about Listerine. No, I didn't. So I was like, well, extract seems to be like, at least with extract, I could dose. I could keep dosing until I get what I want. And I think it's still too much personally, but.
Well, I think using extract and using tinctures, I've grown to like a lot because of the control that you can get, especially at the end of the process when you're about to package. And, I sent you guys my big old beer, which is going to pale in comparison to this is a big, flavorful beer. The peppermint is very strong, but I would not classify it as medicinal. It tastes to me like a very fresh peppermint candy. It's like very strong peppermint candy, but it's not medicinal. It's not hot. I don't get a ton of vanilla, which I don't think you would want, but it's chocolatey. The prime note to me is peppermint, but then there's an underlying chocolate. And
I think the cacao nibs really came through.
Yeah. But it's not, the finishing gravity is, to me, about optimum for this kind of beer because it's not like sickeningly sweet. It's not like, you feel like you need some tea afterwards to clear your palate.
No, it does. It is. Yeah, you're right. It's not like a BA. A lot of some BA stouts, that have been like kind of oxidized over time can have that sort of like slickness. This doesn't have that
Mhm.
slickness. It's pretty dry finish, weirdly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is, yeah, but it's that makes it a little bit more drinkable. Because I get a lot of the, at festivals and stuff, I'll get the big barrel aged stouts, and like a 1 ounce pour is
Too much. I think it's too much. Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't do it. Like I'm a thimble.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
I love, like, they taste amazing, but
They do taste. Yeah.
if you were to go and buy a bomber of it,
Yeah. What are you going to do with that?
places,
Yeah. It's not. It's like
bombers
drinking a
and-
shot of Hershey syrup. It's like or Bosco. It's like I can. Not
Yeah,
little.
I have
A little
I
bit.
have a fridge full of them downstairs that I'm not. What I'm going to drink that by myself? No.
Yeah. Exactly.
Even if you split it with somebody else,
Yeah,
you're
Yeah.
still
it's got to
getting
be
tanked.
like 4 or 5 people can split a
Yeah.
750.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think if brewers were to professional breweries were to, I mean, the temptation is to brew these giant, massive, beers, and then put them in like a 750 milliliter bottle, some giant bottle, but then. Yeah, like you said, who's going to drink that? Besides me watching YouTube at 1:00 in the morning.
Yeah, still awake from coffee stout earlier today.
Exactly. Yeah, who needs that? Nobody. That's bad for everybody.
Yeah.
But if you could make like maybe a 7-ounce bottle, or maybe even a smaller bottle of those special beers, where it's like it's a little goes a long way, and you could also price them, like I'm giving advice to professional brewers all of a sudden, like I know something.
No, I'm listening.
But you could also price
How
them.
low should my price be?
You could also price them smaller. So if you I don't even know how much.
There's a brewery down the street that does the small cans.
Oh,
of it. Like the real, like the mini cans.
Yeah,
Oh.
we've talked about that. Mike and I have talked about doing 8-ounce cans of some some of the beers that even a 16-ounce can can be a lot for some of those big beers. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm drinking it now, and it's like, I think the chocolate's dialed up. I mean, it is a peppermint mocha stout, so there is supposed to be coffee or a lot of chocolate. But I wish there was more coffee.
Yeah,
which I think with dry hopping with beans, essentially, I think that would have helped a little bit. Also, and I think this was a mistake in hindsight, but I used like a fancy light roast where I could have done maybe a more coffee smelling coffee instead of like a fruitier smelling coffee. So that could have been something too.
I don't know if I were to ding. I like it. I like it a lot. If I were to ding anything, I think I would dial back a teeny bit on the peppermint. Just
100%.
Just because it is like it was like, wow, this is
and you'd be. I mean, I don't know if you've used peppermint, but you'd be shocked by how little I used. I was like, I was doing the math when I was doing the dosing, and I'm like, am I supposed to use this whole bottle? I don't think so. I did it by I even though we did that tasting. It didn't help mathematically. I was like, no, it's going to be way too powerful.
Well, I mean, it's not offensive. It's not medicinal. It's not a bad flavor, but in the balance of the whole thing,
it's not balanced. Yeah,
I think that it's more of a peppermint candy beer than a chocolate candy beer. So that's the only. I mean, it's not going to slow me down from drinking it. I think it's really good.
It is very good.
But yeah, worth all the effort, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, if the next version of it, I think, would be incredible. Like when you kind of you balance the levels in.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be really something really good.
Is this Matt? Do you rebrew? Well, I know that you rebrewed your hazy IPA to get it perfect in it.
I've done the first beer that I think that we have ever done, that amber ale. I think I've done that maybe like 4 or 5 times. That's always a hit. This one, I mean, look, I don't drink a lot of these. It's like I don't drink these, and I don't. I mean, I do have a party this Saturday. I don't know if people are gonna. I mean, I would be worried if they were drinking that.
Yeah, you want to be responsible. Responsible.
I was gonna put it on nitro,
but
then I figured trying to get it in a can wouldn't have worked. So
Oh yeah.
shipping it would have been a problem if I had to put it on nitro. And that I went back and forth with, where I was like, oh, am I going to bottle these prior to kegging it? And I just thought, no, I think nitro was just kind of overkill at this point. I didn't think it was worthy of it. But would I do it again? I think I kind of try to think like a pro brewery, just because it'll sit here otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's not going to move.
Yeah, it's a tough one to have in a keg.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
You're not coming home every day and, well, like, it's another pint of 12%.
That's right. And you know what? Maybe if I bottled it, maybe the peppermint would have subsided over time and something interesting may have come of it. I don't know. Maybe barrel aging it would have done something. Not that I'd have the capacity or ability to do that. Yeah. The only beer that I had, a mint beer like this that I thought really was very, very good, is a beer from, I believe it's Prairie, and it's called Mint Condish.
Oh.
I had it this year, and that's kind of the inspiration for this.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was like, oh, that's the first time I've had a peppermint beer that I've actually liked.
Yeah.
Because usually they kind of end up, kind of heavy on the peppermint. I had one a while back called Santa Claus, like Tiger Claws.
Bear Claws.
Yeah. Bear Claws. Which was like super mint forward. And I was just like, I can maybe do a couple more sips and then I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's where we're at with this one, unfortunately. But yeah.
Josh, you're a professional brewer. So, you're rolling the dice literally and making a wacky beer is maybe not so much up your alley, but what do you think about doing a Mash Your Luck?
Well, I mean, I just had half a pint of 11% peppermint stout, so I don't see. It's a perfectly good idea now.
Yeah.
Ask me on the morning I have to make this beer, and it may be a different story. But
you may roll a brown sour.
I know.
So since you're a professional brewer and you're going to have to sell this stuff, I'm allowing you some allowances on the categories and the characteristics, because you may not want to brew, risk having to brew some of these things. So we go through. We have ABV, we have bitterness, we have color, we have type, and we have origin, and we roll and come up with the initial characteristics, and then you get a joker at the end, and you can re-roll. Now, on that re-roll, you might get the same thing again.
Sure.
So the first,
Is that fair, by the way?
What?
The re-roll and you get the same thing? Or should the re-roll? Because I'm only saying because that's exactly what happened to me.
It turned out good for
house
you.
Rules. Yeah.
This is the airing of the grievances.
Happy Festivus.
That was the hardest part of the whole project.
Let me find my random number generator here on my phone. So ABV, now originally we have 5. We have very low, low, medium, high, and very high. Okay. Now, are there any of those that you want to kind of veto and say, I really can't sell a beer of this?
No, let's just roll them and see where it comes out, and then because maybe it'll all come out fine, and then I don't have to use any.
Yeah, you don't want to pre-do it because then you can always edit and post, right? Okay. It's like
you got to cut that whole thing.
Yeah, and then I'm not brewing.
Well,
that.
and then you could just not brew to that spec, and then we'd say, well, Josh, it really doesn't fit that, and
it'll ding you points in the show, but in life you'll
so sad.
Yeah. I mean, we can go power a suggestion and say, well, I know you think it's not dark, but in its heart.
Yeah, you're looking at it the wrong light.
It's dark in mood. Not in color.
You drink it with the lights off.
All right, so here we go. The first I think that's my button. Here we go. The first one is 1 to 5 on ABV, and here we go.
Okay.
Oh, it's a 3. So
what is that? Just normal?
Medium ABV.
Medium.
Okay.
See? Already. we're golden.
Fortune.
That can mean literally anything.
That's right. Okay, so something similar on bitterness. We have low, low to mid, balanced, high, and very high. All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Two, which is low to mid.
Again,
Low
literally
to mid bitterness.
All right, approaching lager territory.
Yep.
Hopefully you roll that.
Okay. Now, here we've added some. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got to change my numbers here. We got 6 on the color. We got pale, gold, amber, brown, black, and red.
Okay.
All right. So are you on board with
Sure.
those?
Yep.
Okay. So here we go. Ooh. Oh, it's another black one. It's another black beer. The dark beers are popular
Okay.
with the wheel.
Okay.
Okay. Now, under type, we've got 3 right now: lager, ale, and sour. How do you feel as a professional brewer with your brewery? Are you okay with all those?
Sure. Yeah, we can make it work.
Oh, okay. All right. Here.
Not okay with it. There should be more options.
Oh, well, what do you suggest, Matt? What do
I
you?
don't know. That's the thing. Is like, I would have said Belgian.
Well, that's
but
in the next.
already a thing.
That's
I
in the
know.
next one.
That's the next
know.
one. Yeah.
Josh is thinking, shut up.
Is fruited a thing?
Fruited?
Fruited would
No,
be sour.
fruited is kind of a wild card that you can.
Okay.
You
can
can add
do it, that
fruit.
can go in.
You can add any adjuncts you want. You can add fruit. You can add spices. You can add whatever.
Yeah, because sour should be tart, right? Like
tart,
we mean
/
tart.
sour. It's
Yeah.
Tart
Yeah.
counts as sour. Okay, here we go. Oh, ale.
Literally anything. This is perfect. I can just make whatever I want.
Yeah, exactly. You'll just send
Anyway,
you'll just send us cans of stuff you've already got.
Yeah. Just pick one out of the box. That's what we're doing.
It is dark. Trust me.
Okay. Okay. So now origin, we've added some. In the beginning, we started out with U.S., Germany, and the UK. Then we added Belgium. Then we added Australasia. Then we added Scandinavia. Then we added world. And then we added fantasy / sci-fi.
Ooh,
So
I like that.
So are you okay with all those?
Why not?
All right.
We've been hitting so far. So
Okay.
I have a question. What would be an example of sci-fi?
Well, there's in the Corbomite maneuver where Clint Howard appears as the little guy behind the puppet at the end of the episode, and he offers Kirk some Tranya.
We must drink. This is Tranya. I hope you relish it as much as I.
What's the Dark Tower beer that he made up?
that's the graph, like an apple.
Graph.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one that came to mind right away for me.
Okay.
So if I get sci-fi, expect it.
Well, you've got a 1 in 8 chance, so
All right.
that may not be. Okay.
I really hope you get that one.
I kind of do too.
Well, but you can,
Why?
but the thing about this game, fantasy sci-fi, you can come up with anything,
Mhm.
and as long as you have the story, which is one of the
Yeah.
components of the scoring, then you can. If you're a BSer, you can pull it off. Okay, here we go. It is fantasy sci-fi.
Fantasy sci-fi.
Somewhere Scott
Perfect.
Housel is laughing and smiling, and I love it.
All right, put an order in on beer glitter right now.
Oh, it's like you think I don't have beer glitter already.
My mistake.
Okay, now Josh, Jack Benny all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Oh, Don. You have, as we stand, you have medium ABV, low to mid bitterness, black, ale, with fantasy / sci-fi influences.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to re-roll, or are you okay? You don't have to re-roll.
So color, it's either light. Oh no, there's a bunch of different colors.
Color is pale, gold,
Yeah.
amber, brown, black, or red.
I mean, for sci-fi, I'd stick with black. You know what I mean?
I know, I kind of think so. I mean, well, what if it's a fruited beer and it turns purple?
Well, you got.
What does that count as?
I mean, there's blueberries in this beer, and it's not purple; it's black.
Well, no, it's black.
Hmm.
But if I used dragon fruit and made it pink,
Ooh.
do I get dinged because it's pink?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I would have to roll and get something different than black.
If he rolls and it does change and he hates the change, can he go back to the original? No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Nobody's
Oh,
ever
man,
nobody's
it's
ever
subliminal.
stuck with the initial roll before.
Oh well, then you just challenge.
Yeah,
it.
they get one up in there. Got to be the first.
You know, I think
You're not first, you're last.
I think
Solid point.
I think that
I think we keep it.
yeah, I think you could make an awesome
Yeah.
beer with it.
I'm already curious. Do you have an idea on sci-fi / fantasy?
No, I want to. I mean, I'm a fairly big Doctor Who nerd.
Ah,
So
yes.
there's got to be something
Got to be something.
somewhere in Doctor Who, or there will be when I'm done.
Yeah, because no one will know.
No.
If your beer is bigger on the inside.
Yeah, you'll be like, it was season 68, episode 24.
Yeah. Well,
They mentioned this.
The BBC lost those tapes in the 70s.
Yeah.
well, listeners, if you have a suggestion on how Josh can steer his beer toward fantasy / sci-fi,
100%. Yeah, I would love to hear it.
wasn't there a movie called The Dark Crystal?
Yeah.
Yep.
Two movies.
Oh,
There's a new one.
If you put some dark crystal malt in there, you've
true.
that's kind of cheating.
You're getting docked points if that's
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we can make this work. But if anybody's got cool ideas, my email is josh@gambitbrewingco.com.
There you go.
Throw them at me. And
Yeah.
And
You
copy
already
me.
talked about that hop, those new hop sci-fi hop flavors that you can mess with.
Also very true. Ooh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can. All right. Well, I got some thinking to do now, which is good.
I'm excited about
This is
that.
good.
Oh,
Okay.
you could. Oh man, I got another idea.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You could write the recipe with AI.
Oh.
Oh, that is kind of sci-fi now.
Sci-fi.
Or it's our entire world and we're about to.
That's right. Well, yeah. But you could be early adopter.
Oh, it's like a Terminator 2 beer.
Well, I look forward to hearing what you do with the sci-fi beer, Josh.
We'll see. I have ideas kicking around. I feel like it's got to have galaxy hops,
Oh,
but maybe not. Sci-fi.
So you're sort of going sci-fi more than fantasy.
Well, today, but tomorrow's
Could be a whole.
Oh, yeah, fantasy. That's true. There must be something. There must be some Lord of the Rings thing. There must
Or
be.
you do butter beer.
oh,
Butterbeer?
it's not a lager.
That's been a running joke for the last 15 years, 20 years between my buddies that all homebrewed because the first pale ale I ever made tasted like
Like butter.
so much diacetyl. It was,
Acetyl bomb.
so they still, every new beer I make, does it taste like butter?
That's fun.
Yeah,
That's real fun.
I love you guys.
Do you remember the Disney movie back in the day called The Black Hole?
Yeah.
That wasn't so
Mhm.
great. wasn't a great movie, but maybe there's some inspiration there. It's a black
Mhm.
thing, sci-fi. I'll come up with something.
Yeah, I feel like there's something even like super weird, like the absence of something,
Oh, yeah.
like a void.
Okay.
I don't know how you would avoid the noid.
Okay. Oh, there's a story behind that. All right. Okay, let's hit the stop button. You guys, happy, in the present, happy rest of the holiday season. And
Yeah.
I look forward to talking to you guys again in 2025.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
You too.
Many thanks to Matt and Josh. Really looking forward to hearing what Josh comes up with. If you have suggestions on the fantasy sci-fi theme, send them to Josh or send them to me, and I'll pass them on. I'm sure you guys have a lot of ideas. If you have brewing questions, show suggestions, or just want to say howdy, write to james@basicbrewing.com, or just fill out the contact form on basicbrewing.com. And please don't forget to tell us where you're from. Check out our mobile-friendly shop at basicbrewingshop.com. Thanks to everybody supporting us through our Patreon page. Special goodies coming your way. Check that out at patreon.com/basicbrewing. It's all until next time. Until then, thanks for listening, everybody. I'm James Spencer. Production help for Basic Brewing Radio and our website is provided by Kelly Dodson. Basic Brewing Radio is a production of Active Voicing. We'll talk to you next time, everybody. In the meantime, stay well and stay tuned. So long.